Hi everyone, I have decided to go on a 4-week strict carnivore journey, if you like, or experiment. And the reason I'm doing this is actually because I like to experiment. I've been trying less strict carnivore for longer periods of time before, and it hasn't quite had the desired effect on me, so I'm going to try to cut even more things out. I'm not going to go to the extreme end and just have one source of meat, but I'll just tell you in a second why. And I also lately I've had too many random thoughts about only wanting to eat some sort of processed meats and cheese and things like that, things that have more taste. So this is telling me that I am wandering down the cravings alley. I just want things that actually stimulate my taste buds, so I need to cut these things out because something is clearly going on here. I've never been a huge dairy fan in my life, and I shouldn't be eating dairy because I'm not doing well with it. I'm doing okay with butter, but I'm going to cut that out as well. And I also want to explore a little bit how it actually feels to me and, challenge myself to deal with those negative emotions that are coming up when you're taking away all enjoyment out of food. And I'm going to share that with you so that you know what I'm doing, how I'm actually handling it, how I'm going through it. And it's kind of a challenge for me mentally because I'm an educated chef, and as such, you're pretty much trained to create things that not only taste nice, but they should look nice and it should be this whole experience. So to me, food is a lot more than just nutrition inherently. That's one of my beliefs that I need to kind of work on taking away. We want to reward ourselves with food, and we want to make these nice dinners, and God knows, and all of that is good. But for me, it might be a problem actually. It's not a huge problem, but it's still something that I might need to work through. So what I'm going to do is for 4 weeks, I'm only going to eat meat and salt. And that will be red meat and salt. And chicken broth, because I'm not a huge fan of the bone broths. I don't really like the taste of them, whereas I like chicken broth. So I will eat some chicken meat as well, because I'm going to show you in a second. There is an amount of meat on the chicken carcasses that I'm getting, so I will just make a chicken soup out of that, and all is good. So many of you have been asking me about, why don't you show us when you're cooking? And the reason I'm not doing that is because that's not exactly what this channel is about. And the other reason is that carnivore cooking is really simple. It's not very exciting. You just fry a piece of steak and then you eat it, and it's not actually much to show you. But I'm going to show you what I did with my chicken frames this morning. So here you go. Hi everyone, I hope that you can hear me well enough. I'm filming on my phone this time. So I've read a lot of comments from several of you. You want me to show you when I'm cooking and so on. So I thought, as part of this whole project, doing 4 weeks full carnivore, just meat, no spices, no anything, so just meat and salt of different kinds, of even cutting out my beloved butter and my eggs. So today I'm going to just start because of making some chicken broth, because I like broth and it actually gets me quite full. And sometimes I'm not the best person to eat a lot of meat, so yeah. Slow cooker here. It's a ceramic one. I know people are usually asking that. And I have 5 of these. It's just a chicken frame. There's some meat on it. You can make quite a lot of chicken soup out of that. And the only thing I do is that I put them in here, all 5 of them. I don't do anything with them. You could roast them in the oven if you want to. That is totally fine. Personally, I don't really do it. I think mostly you do it for taste, and that is not even necessary. Right, so I have to go wash my hands and just add some water. I'm adding until it's just about covering the chicken. You can add more if you like, if you have more space, it doesn't really matter. You can add some salt if you want, you can add it now, you can add it later, and I use pink Himalayan salt, and that's going to read backwards, isn't it? However, I do not recommend this brand because I've noticed that when I put it into water, what is happening is that not all of it is dissolving, so there are lots of impurities there. And it does say on the packet, mind a natural product, in spite of our greatest care, small stones may be present. So I think there are a lot of stones, at least in this packet, which isn't great. Now, I'm not going to add this because of my experiment, but if you want, you can always add some vinegar, and I'm using the raw apple cider vinegar just because it's meant to be better. I'm not convinced that it is when it's cooked anyway, so. But I do have it, and I use it occasionally. And what it does is just acidifies the water and draws the minerals out, and is supposed to make the bone broth more rich. I don't think it makes too much difference when you are making a chicken broth, because the chicken bones are very thin and they break up easily. So after doing this for 24 hours, they will pretty much be quite mushy. Some people like to eat them like that. I don't, but I do push them through the sieve. So yeah, I'm just going to turn this on low, put the lid on, and then it will be ready tomorrow morning, when I usually let it be for 24 hours or a little bit longer. 12 hours is fine if you are in a hurry, but I actually have some leftover chicken stock in the fridge right now that I'm going to finish first. Right, so that's pretty much what I do. I just put them in with water and possibly salt if you want, and that's it. It's super simple, it's super quick, you just leave it and then you can consume the bone broth. So my plan is to, for as long as I still enjoy it, have at least 1 cup of bone broth every day, chicken bone broth specifically. So I'm not having any processed meats at all, no bacon, no salami, no smoked meat, no nothing. That's all gone. I'm not going to eat any eggs, not any seafood, and no dairy. And I'm not having any spices at all. So those of you who know me, I'm usually having meat with, I love garlic butter, so I do have some plants in there, and I like having spices on, like smoked paprika and so on. And I'm just cutting that out and I'm leaving it to salt, and we'll see what that does with my cravings, with my thinking about food, and how it will affect my taste buds over time, and what I can do with that when I'm done with in 28 days. And we shall see whether I want to continue doing it as strict. My thinking right now is probably not, because I like garlic butter on my steak and so on. And now I can't even have butter on my steak. So that's going to be a mental challenge for sure. So this is day 1, and we will continue. I'll actually try to update you every day. That's my plan anyway. If I fail one occasional day, it's no huge drama, but I want to post 28 videos on this, so I'm going to keep them short. Some of them will be shorter and sweeter, but I'm not going to be ranting along those lines. Yeah, so if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, press the like button for the video, press the bell if you want any notifications when I'm uploading new materials or when I'm going live, which I'm doing every Sunday here in New Zealand, so that would be Saturday for most of the world. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.